snippet. Does that look okay? Brooke, can you see it okay?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, great. I did want to just kind of go over here really quick and just highlight a couple of sections, specifically this section here. These are your tools as you're going through the actual online meeting with me. You can interact with me by choosing any one of these individual. If I ask a question, you can always click yes or no. You could also go over here where it says more. You can give me thumbs up and a bunch of other emoticons as well. So there are a couple different ways to use it. And then if I scroll down here, you control your muting in your video up here. So feel free to use those as well. If you want to talk to me, you just click on this here by clicking on it. It's your microphone. That'll unmute it. And to mute it back up, you just click on it again and it'll mute it. So there's a couple of different really neat features with this. Does your screen look like this too, Brooke? Similar to that?
It does. We've just used it a few times at work, but yes, it's very similar to this.
Okay, great. I mean, you have other controls here as well. You got a bunch of other controls here that you could use as well. But anyway, it's a really good, it's a good indicator. If I'm going too fast, you can tell me to, oops, right here, go slower. And if I'm going too slow, you can say, hey, can you go up a little faster? Those are ways of communicating with me without feeling like you're interrupting me or any of the other students as well. Okay, so I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna go ahead and close this and nope, I don't want to save my changes, so I'm back on. So let me share with you my other screen now, and then I'm gonna show you you should see my screen now for the Brandman week 2 in Blackboard. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, perfect, thank you. And just wanted to go over a couple of things in Blackboard. This course has 3 things that we tend to do in this course. And the first one is the readings. And the readings really happen in the test out in the sim lab, and we'll show you how that works. And most of you looks like you've been in there and doing that already. The second one is you're doing some end of chapter exams, also on the sim lab test out. And then the third thing is your discussion questions, which are obviously in the Blackboard. And your discussion questions, you can reach a couple of different ways. You can reach them by coming here, or you can reach them by the individual weeks, okay? So those are the 3 deliverables that you have to really focus on for the most part in this course. But the majority of your work will be done in test out, which is the lab sim product. I'm gonna go to that now. How many of you have had a chance to go in here and jump in and dive in?
I saw part of that.
Okay. You watched some of it?
Yes.
Okay. Oops, make sure I got this chat going here. And it's like a 7 or 8 minute video. It's not very long, but it does give you an introduction to the actual class. And I really do recommend it for those of you that have not worked in test out before, because it teaches you the functionality of, okay, great, Vernon, thank you. It teaches you the functionality of how the video player works. So let me go ahead and show you what I mean by that is if you scroll down to the video. Actually, hold on one second, let me go somewhere else. So one of the first things we do is introduction to desktop computer systems. If you're, let's say, playing. You can see my screen okay still?
Yes.
So as you can see down here, there's some controls. I know they might be really small on the bottom of your screen, but there's some controls here. These controls are play and stop, obviously, and the time amount that is the length of the video. And there are two buttons to slow down the video if you want the video to run a little bit slower, or there's let's run the video a little bit faster. And then you can also control it here as well. This is the speed. I think this is moving it forward. This is the speed. So for example, let me give you a couple of features here. Can you also still hear her speaking when I play it?
I cannot hear her.
Okay. If you could hear her, this is where it would be. You would change how fast or how slow the video played here. Okay? So this is just a small little features. It's good to know about the product. So that's what that first video does. And this week, we actually jump in and start doing the actual work in the course. Is this a good size here, or is it not showing up very well on your screen, this section here?
It's small. It's viewable, but it's small.
Okay. I don't think I can make it bigger just because it's inside of the chapter, but just bear with me here. You'll be able to go in there and see it as well. But for example, last week we did the computer and internet we did getting started last week, okay, here. This week, week 2, we do computer and internet basics. Week 3, we do Microsoft Word. Week 4, we work on Microsoft Excel. Week 5, it's PowerPoint. Week 6, it's Microsoft Access. Week 7, basically we do anything that we haven't been able to get to or catch up. It's a catch-up week and a study week, because the following week, week 8, you'll be doing the practice exam. And well, basically what the final exam looks like, or it's called a pro practice exam, but it's actually your final. That's made up of like 2 or 3 questions from this section here, computer and internet basics, 2 or 3 questions from Word, 2 or 3 questions from Excel, 2 or 3 from PowerPoint, and 2 or 3 from Access. So it typically takes about 2 to 4 hours to finish it. But again, it's all reasonable work. It's just prioritizing your time and this work. So can everybody go on mute, please, because I'm hearing a lot of background noise. Perfect, thank you. That's always helpful. Again, feel free to unmute and ask me whatever questions you may have. That's definitely fine. So I am, okay, so the thing that I wanted to kind of share and really emphasize is that each one of these sections, you may be very familiar with the content and the concept, meaning like, for example, Microsoft Word. Some of you have probably been using Microsoft Word for a very long time, and you may feel very confident with it. That's great, which is what we want you to feel good about. What this course does, it makes you, the way that I like to explain it, is it makes you drive a car like putting your hand on the steering wheel at the 9 and the 3. And so if you know shortcuts within Microsoft Word, as you're going through the simulation, those shortcuts won't work unless they're asking for those shortcuts. So what I would say is really plan your time wisely as you're going through these, because they do take a little bit of time to finish. It's not that they're hard. There's just a lot of amount of steps that you have to take there's readings, there's videos. Some students tend to go faster over certain things that they are very familiar with, but the simulations is where it slows you down because you gotta finish those. So I'm gonna just pause there and ask if there's any questions before I continue to move forward.
Can we take those as many times as we want? Like a lot of them I got 100% on, but I'd like to go back and make sure I got all the concepts. Is that okay?
Yes, it is. It's a great question. It is. It's okay to go back. Now, one good thing about the test out, the lab sim, you'll have access to it for 1 year. So the $149 that you paid, I think it was $149, or is it $145? I forget the exact dollar amount of the subscription or the key to actually access it. It's for 12 months long. So you can come back and do whatever you want for the next 12 months to refresh your skill sets. It's a great question. Any other questions? Okay, so let me move on. I want to show a couple of different steps that you'd have to complete for those of you that haven't started yet. So for example, under computer and internet basics, I'm going to show you, you saw what the video looked like, but let me go ahead and do this. So once you sign in, you're here, you watch the video, or if you've already seen the video, you click these arrows. I hope you could see these arrows.
Yes, we can.
Okay, good, thank you. And on my screen, are you able to see, are you just seeing this here, the test out, or are you seeing other things?
Just the test out.
Okay, perfect. I wish I could make it bigger, but there isn't a way for me to make it bigger, so I apologize about that. You can use these arrows, this back arrow and this front arrow, and it takes you through the different pages.
Oh, wow.
So for example, after you finish watching this video, you just click here, it'll take you to the next section. Or you can always use your exclamation mark or hamburger menu. There's a lot of different names for this here. Or you can come here and just choose the next one here. Okay. And I think I mentioned earlier that this class isn't that it's difficult. A lot of the information here is very easy to implement and to use, except it's just a little bit time consuming and you have to manage your time. For instance, this week, we start the first section, which is the computer and internet basics. It has 1 section, 2, 3, 4, oops. 4 sections, let's see here, 5, 6, 7 sections that you have to go through. In each section has either a small video, a very short video, I should say, some reading, some descriptive images, maybe another short video, some more readings and graphics, some more readings and graphics, and then you do the simulation. Then you get into the next topic. The next topic is Windows and operating systems. And then you do the same thing, videos, some reading, and so forth. And then you get into file management. Same thing, okay? Some reading, it gives you a summary of what you talk about. Small, short video, and then some descriptions of, you know, what are some common storage devices. Some of the stuff is going to seem really basic and some of it is going to be new learning. So again, it's hard drives, hard disks, and it gives you the description. So the name of it and descriptions and what does it do, what is the differences. And you just skip to the next section as you go through it. Again, a little bit more reading. You can always get a copy of this text by pressing this document icon. So if you do that, it's been copied. And so all you have to do is open up a Word document and paste it on the Word document. Okay. Then the second option here is you can print this for those of you that like to print. Okay. So as you can see, there's a lot of documentation here. But again, you can refer back to it. There's no, it's not like where you go through it once, it's no longer available. It's available. It's going to be available for you for a year. Even though this class is 8 weeks, it's going to be available for you for a year. All right, so the one thing that I wanted to show you that we haven't done before or haven't done yet, I wanted to show you a sample of the simulations, and for those of you that haven't seen it. So the simulation really starts like this. Let's say if you get to a section of the chapter or of the a certain section, you just start the lab. The lab opens up. It's a simulated screen of another desktop. So let me show you. It takes a minute to load. Looks like this. Okay. And most of you have seen this. It's simply a background of a computer, and you have your recycle bin here, and then you have your start menus here. Oops. And you see the start menu here on the very bottom. You see that okay?
We can't see the start menu. I can't see the start menu. I can just see the top.
Okay, let me see. See if I can make it a little bit smaller. All right, voila. Now you can see it, right?
No, but I've done them so far, so I'm okay.
Okay, great. So, so this is the bottom of the menu. For those of you that can see it, I don't know if you can or not, but this is what it looks like. So, and once you're in the simulation, your feedback or your skills and what it wants you to do is going to be here. Okay, so this next section, it says in the documents folder on the PC, create a folder named Econ 100. Okay, so what you would have to do is do what? Open the documents folder. Can you not see this icon yet down here?
The Zoom bar is cutting off the entire bottom of your screen.
Okay, okay. So once you, what you could do, it just says in the documents folder on the PC, create folder named Econ 100. So you would go, you would open it up, you would go to the documents folder, and it says to create a new folder, call it Econ 100. And so I created a new one, and then I'm going to call it Econ, oops, 100. Oops, I did it too fast, but let me see if I can reset it. Nope, I already did it, so it won't let me unless I reset it, but let me go to the next one. In the documents folder on the PC, delete the forum.docx file. So I'm gonna go back and open up the file. I'm gonna go to the documents folder, and here is that lorem.docx. To delete it, I click on it, and then here's the delete button. Are you sure you want to delete it? Yes. And then it tells me good job. And then continue to the next task. Sorry about that. So this is, I'm in the simulation now because I opened it. So this is where I do all my practices. Okay. So I'm going to do one more. In the document folder on the PC, copy the IPSUM document, file the document folder on your Microsoft OneDrive account. So a couple of different ways to do this. I'm going here in my documents, and it wants me to copy. So here's my copy icon. Copied it. I go to my OneDrive. And then what do? Paste it. To my OneDrive. Okay. Oh, I have to put it in here. See, I missed a step. It's pretty. Now that I put it in there, it said good job. It won't give me the good job until I get it right. So you can always redo the task here, reset the task. Okay, there's also a hint button on the bottom. If I press that, it would go here. It would give me the hint. It will tell me how to do it. Or if I'm stuck, I can say, just show me, and it would. You can't hear this, but it's going to show you a video of how to do it. And it'll tell you, speak to you on how to do it. And you can follow that same instruction. Okay? All right, I'm going to pause there again and then see if you all have any questions for me.
When I was doing the getting started, it didn't have any of those green checks that I did it, but I went through it twice. So I didn't know if that was giving me credit for it.
So in the getting started page, it won't give you anything green on the getting started. It starts really on today, this week, where as you go through it, it'll give you the green check mark. So
okay, I just wanted to make sure I was getting credit for like doing it, so I did it twice. But I was like, okay.
Well, sorry that you had to do it twice, but yeah, it's
Oh, no
a good question. Thank you for bringing it up. It will not show progress on the getting started because it's not a rated assignment per se. But thank you for completing it. Great question. Anything else? Any other questions about what we've covered so far? Okay, moving on. To get out of the simulation, I always like to close it to go to the next section. But so for example, I just finished this 1.39, but look how many other labs there are. 1.310, 1.311, 1.312, and 1.313. So as you can see, they're a little bit time consuming, and you have to read the instructions, and sometimes lab test out is a little bit finicky, where it may not do what you're trying to make it do, and that's okay as well. I do wanted to talk to you about how I grade this class, and I get a lot of questions about grading, but this is generally how I grade it. So when I go into test out, I can pull a report. For example, I'm going to pick on you, Brooke. I'm going to say, tell me, I'm going to run a report, and I'm going to say, how did Brooke do last week? How many of these did she complete? And so as you go through these, it puts a check mark in every single one of these as you complete them. But on my report, this is what it would show, Brooke. It would show, it wouldn't show me anything that you've done on the videos and the readings. It's not going to tell me how long you stayed on this page to read it. It will tell me on this skills lab for each one of the sections. That's how it grades you. So some people ask me, how long do I have to watch every single second of the video? I would say if this is something that you're passionate about, that you want to learn, and that you feel like you have some gaps in that, I would say take your time and read and watch the videos. Those of you, if it's getting to a point where you know that section really, really well, and you want to like speed through it a little bit, that's okay as well. The important part about watching the videos and reading it is because I'm gonna go back to my analogy of driving the vehicle using two hands, one on number 9 and the other one on number 3 parts of the steering wheel, and driving with two hands. That's what it's gonna remind you to do if you go through this. Where the difference is, for those of you that are very familiar in some spots or some areas, you'll be able to drive the car with one hand, and sometimes that won't work when you're using the shortcuts in this program. So just wanted to remind you of that. So again, going back to the grading, I won't see how much time you're spending on the videos and in the readings, but it does tell me what you scored on those labs. And so what I like to see is you at least attempting all the labs. Each week it's worth 50 points for the labs. And so basically the way that I grade it, now in order to get 50 points, do you have to get every single portion of this lab correct to the T? No, there is a little bit of a buffer just because there isn't a real good way to do that. So I know that sometimes the system is finicky and it gets stuck, the test out system. And sometimes it'll say, copy this document and paste it here, and you'll be doing that. It just won't work. It's just the timing, or if it's overwhelmed at that point. There's a lot of people that use the system. It's usually 99% perfect, but there is a little bit of time. There are some things that may not work for you, but so I take that in consideration when I'm grading. Okay, so for example, in week 2, all these labs. So you got one lab there. Or let's go back. You got one lab, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So there's like almost 30 different labs. And you have 50 points for the week. So I just look at all your labs for that week and see how well you did. And that's what I base my point score on. If you're gonna miss one on each lab, it's not gonna total, it's not, I don't take away a point for everything that you miss. I'm just looking at how much of the section did you complete, okay? So again, as you can see, the labs it's a lot of work, and there's a lot of, just because this is one lab, that doesn't mean it has like 3 or 4 parts within that lab. And so that's kind of how I grade it. I grade it as how much of the lab did you complete. I'm gonna pause there. I know that's ambiguous, but if I was to tell you, like, the best thing to do is just attempt every single part of the lab and you'll be fine, because by attempting every single part, you will be able to do over 95, 96, 97% of the labs you'll be able to complete. Because it's not that they're not easy, they're just time consuming. And there's the hints, there's the show me button. There's ways for you to get the information that you need to complete them. So I'm really looking at your ability to finish them and finish them correctly. But if you know there's a section that's not working for you, that you maybe, it's one step of the process that may be not working, the test out is just not responding to your commands, I don't want you to spend an hour doing one thing. I want you to like just be okay with it and move on, because that one thing isn't gonna wreck your grade at all. All right, so I'm gonna pause there one more time. I know I gave you a lot of information. I don't know if that's helpful or more confusing, but you all can tell me.
No, that was good.
Okay. Yeah, others, please jump in and please feel free to ask any questions. The rest of, once you complete these sections, each section has its own end of chapter exam. So let me show you how that works as well. So let me go to that. Again, this is once you complete these, you go back to the here. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go to home. Oh, I gotta sign in as a student. Give me 1 second here. Let me just, let's see, why is that letting me? I think I have to go to, profile. Let me just sign in as a student. Give me 1 second. All right, I'm signing as a student, and most of you will find that you will have, sorry, I have 3 classes open, not teaching 3 classes, but I do have one's an old one, but I am teaching 2 classes this term. But for example, the online one, the Brandman Online, as you can see, this 6 here, that means there are 6 pending exams. Now the exams are here. Once I click on it, it'll show me what exam it is that's out there. So for example, this week, again, this is just, it's not due until Sunday, but we're doing the computer basics end of chapter exam. As you can see, most of these are open for a whole year. They're all open right now. And the reason I did that is some people like to work ahead in this class, and that's okay to do. Okay, so
Do you get one turn to take the exam, or can you take it multiple times?
it's one time to take the exam, but if you need to retake the exam at any point, just please shoot me an email.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. And then, for example, let me show you what that looks like. So I'm going to start the exam. So whenever you finish the rest of the week and you feel comfortable with it, you take the exam. It's loading, and voila. It tells you that time limit is 1 hour. I don't think you'll need an hour to finish it, but if you do, you can always let me know. You basically start the exam, and there's 3 questions here. It tells you what to do. You launch the lab. And this is in the section. I didn't show you an example of this, but basically this is how it would work. It says connect the following external components to the laptop computer: the keyboard. And as you go through these during the week, as you go through them in the test out, it would, oops, my product. As you go through them here, you will have learned how to do that. So computer hardware. This will have had showed you how to do that. See, connecting, what these things are, and then it'll show you in the videos how to connect them. What goes where. And I'm going through fast through these, but just wanted to come back to that other page in just a second. But this is basically what it does. Is it helps you go through learning it, how to do it, and you take the exams or the skills tests during the chapters, and then at the end of the day, you take the exam and you'll be fine. And I'm making it easier, but it is really that easy. So for example, on this page here, it says connect the keyboard to the keyboard, the mouse, and the speakers to the computer, what you would have to do on here is go to the back side of it, right? And that's how you would connect everything. You can do close-ups of it, obviously. It's a pretty neat, the test out is actually pretty neat. I really do like it, and I've used it, and I've had really good luck with it. And I've just always thought it was a pretty neat, a neat system. So I always have really liked it. So it's always been good. It's always been really good for me, and teaching it has been really good. All right, so is that helpful so far, so good?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, great. All right, so we looked at what the exams look like. We looked at what the within test out looks like, and we've seen at least how the video works, and we've also seen how the test out from looking at the imaging and the readings work. And those of you that are familiar, the only thing that we're doing in a Blackboard this term is really your discussion questions, and that's it. Right? You'll see your grades and your discussion questions there. That's what this course is. Everything in this course really is done in Test Out Lab Sim. So I'm going to pause there and see if there's any questions. Okay. I don't have anything else that I wanted to cover today, and we covered it in about 45 minutes. And if you have any questions between now and next week as you dive in and start doing some of this work, please do feel free to call me. You'll have my phone number and my email. Feel free to get a hold of me either way. And if you have any questions, please do let me know. I see Vernon. Okay, you have a question? So basically, Vernon, each week the content is due at the end of the week. So for example, if I go back here, so this week, Vernon, we have from Monday through Sunday, you'll have to complete this entire chapter and take the exam for computer and internet basics. Next week, we go into Word, Microsoft Word. You'll complete these tasks, then take the exam for Word. In week 4, we do Excel, do the tasks, take the end of course or end of chapter exam, and then every week you have discussion questions. So that's basically how it works. And everything is due on Sundays. And if you do need extra time and Sunday comes and you've spent a lot of time in Test Out and Lab Sim and you're getting work done, but you need some extra time, please feel free to just call or email me. Let me know how much more time you need, and I will work with you. I want you to be successful in my class. I want you to be successful at Brandman. I think that's what's important here. I hope I answered your question, Vernon. Okay, any other questions? All right, I hope this has been helpful. Again, I like to meet every week. I'll be on between 6 and 7 for the remainder of the class. And if you have anything that you want me to show you, or if you want me to do anything online to help you understand a couple of the functions, this week again is pretty, you get to know about the hardware and the software. Next week, it's Microsoft Word, which is really reasonable to learn. The Excel and Access are the ones that are a little bit more challenging, that I've found that people have a little bit more fun time with, I should say. But again, that's what we're here for. We're here to help you. We're here to help you succeed, and we'll do that. I have no questions about it. I know that you all will do great in my class, and I think you will have learned, even in those areas where you're very comfortable, you will have learned at least some shortcuts. Great. Anything else? Okay. Well, have a good evening. Enjoy the rest of your evening and the rest of your week. Please feel free to get a hold of me if anything comes up, okay? Have a good evening, and thanks for joining.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Zach. Have a good evening.
You too. Good night.